Stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned. I'm here with the coach, John Brett.
And I'm here with the vet, Ian Griffin.
Hey, we're at the Jump Talk. Man.
True Texas, baby.
Yes.
The Bachman Homestead.
So we're going to talk about something that has been politicized pretty hard. A little thing called mail-in ballots.
Wow. This is going to be good.
Yeah, so I've had a lot of my veteran friends that have done many years say, I've been in the Army 20 years and, you know, I've always been able to mail my ballot in and da-da-da-da. And I agree on that if they're absentee.
Right.
But I do have a story. When I was in Bosnia the first time, it was during the election of Bill Clinton and Bob Dole. And the battalion would send out a voting officer and they say, hey, where are you from? You can vote, you know, absentee. And I said, good. And I said, when did I get the ballot? Well, a week prior to the election. I'm like, well, we're in Bosnia. How did we get there? And the voting officer explains, says, well, they have up to 30 days after the election to count it. And I'm like, but the results come out that night.
Right.
I said, so does mine mean anything? She goes, well, it does, but it's already counted in the math and all this other stuff. I'm like,
To do a percentage?
what they do is they see how many of them, of the absentees are out, and they will sway either way. So pretty much it doesn't count is what it amounts to. And so I think that's just a pretext. And so for me personally, I don't have a problem with mail-in balloting as long as it's mailed directly to the individual. And my wife, she's been working at a campaign headquarters in the town I'm from. In that little area right there, a lady came in today and said that 2 16-year-olds received the mail-in ballot application thing. Like 16-year-olds, here we go. So I don't have a problem. What I do have a problem with, Coach, is this here, is us trying to ram it down before a national election. I think maybe later down the road, where we plan it properly, we budget for it, because each state does their own budgeting for voting. You
Right.
know. And maybe plan 10 years from now and set up a budget so we can implement that. But how we vote in Texas is not how you vote in Vermont.
No.
And how you vote in California is not how you vote in Montana, you know, and maybe people still like it that way. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Coach?
Well, my thoughts is this: if you can get to a poll any other time in the history of this country, you get to the polls.
Yep.
If you need a driver's license, you get to the driver's license office. If you
Yep.
need to go to the post office and mail something, you get to the post office. The left sometimes uses this as, voter suppression. But what I'm telling you is this: the only time we've ever really had any issue with this is if there's a civil war going on. We had issues that we deal with the mail-in, or at that time it was the voting, how we're going to deal with it.
Yeah.
Even the 1918 pandemic, you went to the polls and you voted.
Yes, you did.
And now we have more technology, we have more precautions, we have more social distancing. I mean, you're telling me that you can go to Walmart and you can go to Target and you can go to school, but you can't go vote.
So let me just throw this out here. In the state of Texas, the national election's on November 3rd, but you can start voting October
You got plenty of time.
18th or 19th.
Right.
One of those. I mean, you got 2 weeks, you know.
But
so
they're just throwing out hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of absentee or mail-in ballots to people.
No.
Who's going to fill those out? How do we know?
yeah, so this is my deal: is when you mass mail out absentee ballots without them requesting them. I look at it like this: is I get those checks in the mail and say, hey, cash my check and you will get a 38% interest rate. Let me give you some stats here real quick that are going to be, not stats, they're facts. So because you know how people twist stats, but these are in the last 90 days, just in the last 90 days. Actually really 60 days. But New York alone, the primary elections, which were held on June 23rd, they were held on June 23rd, and on July 24th, they were still counting the votes. Doesn't give me a lot of confidence in the system.
That's New York only.
New York only. By August 7th in New York, 1 in 5 mail-in ballots were rejected.
Just in New York.
In New York City alone.
20%.
84,000 of the primary elections ballots were rejected. 84,000. That's New York. In New Jersey, a local election was ordered, a new one was ordered after it already happened, after mail-in voter fraud happened. And this was in August. The postal workers had become suspicious because they had found a bundle of ballots mailed back.
Yeah.
You're like, what the heck? You know?
Let's just, I mean, I know you got
Yeah,
more stats.
you know, go
It's
ahead.
very simple. If you put people in charge of things this way, with this much of political division there is in this country.
Exactly.
You've heard people, I have seen on social media, it wouldn't matter if Biden was found with a crack pipe, A, B, C, D, E, and all these 5 things, I'm still going to vote for him. You don't think that they would do whatever they have to take to make sure that their candidate wins.
Yep.
And,
Exactly.
and let's just look at it for the Trump candidate. It shouldn't be that way for the Trump people
No,
either.
it shouldn't.
It should be a person gets up and goes to the polls. They've done it for 200 years.
Yes.
We've done it in pandemics. We've done it in rain. We've done it in sleet. We've done it in everything.
Let me just say it like this. In Iraq, when I was there in 04, 05, we held the ballots where we had our warehouse at. None of my soldiers even knew it except for like a handful. We had pallets of the ballots for the Iraqi national elections. I had to have guards around there. They didn't even know what was in the ballot. Anyway, the Iraqi people faced challenges of getting murdered for voting. And they went out there and got their little purple finger done, and they went and voted. You know, they purpleized their finger.
It's a very
make sure,
high percent, too.
Yes. They went out there to do it. So I think the challenges we have in America are Mox Nix, as we like to say in the Army and in Germany. You know, so
That we're spoiled.
We're
And what we're
spoiled.
spoiled is we want the easiest thing to always be the thing we do because it's just easier that why can't we just mail them in? Why can't we just why? Because sometimes it takes to be an American, it takes you getting your butt up and taking a chance, get out there, get in a line, talk to your people that's some other Americans, and get your butt 6 foot apart with a mask if you need to, and go vote. You need to do it. It's a freaking amazing experience to get to vote in an election.
So this election here will be the first time in my life, except when I graduated high school. Right then I got to vote then too. But I actually get to vote in person.
You going?
Oh, I'm putting the sticker
I'm going
on
too.
October 18th.
We're going to have to
baby.
film it. Let's go
Yes,
vote.
yes. Or they won't let you film it there, but you'll film me walking away for sure.
Film it walking away?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be in Smith County and you'll be in Camp County,
Yes.
but we'll do it.
So, and the 2 states I mentioned, there was problems in Virginia and Pennsylvania too, and they were just astronomical. The Virginia 2 million mail-in ballots were sent out. 580,000 of them had the wrong return address on them. So that's 580,000 that is not going to get their vote counted.
Right.
So, and these are just little problems.
And we talk about voter suppression, and we talk about every vote count.
Yeah.
Well, if that's 500,000, it doesn't.
Out of 2 million, that's 1/4.
I guarantee that some on the left wouldn't care if those came from Texas, and I'm sure that some on the right wouldn't care if those came from California. But every vote should be counted.
Yeah, and then the other thing I'll say is, do we really want the federal government involved in this?
What do they run correctly?
Because if you have the federal government up here, then you have the state, then you have the county, then you have the local. You know, if you take one tier out, my gosh, that's less taxpayer dollars. Period. So we're gonna move away from mail-in ballot for a second, and then we're gonna talk about this great topic that's come up that San Francisco is pushing to allow 16-year-olds to vote at local elections.
Oh boy.
Coach, I want to know what you were thinking when you were 16.
First of all, I was thinking about rock and roll, heavy metal, girls,
Yep.
football,
Yep.
basketball.
Yep.
I don't even remember at that time if I even knew what an election really meant.
Yep.
I would not be thinking about what's the best thing for my ideology to match for a candidate for a vote. I wouldn't even know. I would probably vote, to be honest with you, who either my parents or my peers pressured me to vote at that time.
I agree with that. I will tell you, at 16, I thought about girls. I thought about rock and roll. I thought about girls. I thought about cars. I thought about girls. I thought about alcohol. Did I say I thought about girls?
Girls.
And I'll be honest with you, if I had some young lady that promised me second base, I'd vote for wherever she told me to vote for. You know?
Exactly.
I mean, that's just how my
I mean,
mind
are you
works.
kidding me? They can't buy a cigarette.
No,
They can't go in the military yet.
no.
No?
17, they can have their parents.
17. Can't rent an apartment. I know that much.
No.
Can't buy a home.
No, can't rent a car.
Can't rent a car. But, we're going to let you vote for our national president.
Yep.
Or for a local election even.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me?
That's insane. And, and I have a son that's 15 right now. He's 15 and a half, and he just got his permit, and I'm riding with him. And he just needs to be 15. He don't need to be an adult. And not because I want to hold him down. He's just embracing life how it is. He doesn't have that responsibility at 16. And I will tell you, my son is very educated on both parties and politics and history and government very well. He's very versed at it, especially being a military brat. But he's not ready for that yet.
And he shouldn't be.
He shouldn't be.
And this year for the last year I've been teaching in a local prison adults. But prior to that I was teaching high school students for 3 years.
Yep.
And when you go into a high school, you have to think about it. In the 9th grade, they learn world geography. 10th grade, world history. So that's about the time you're 16. 17, you get U.S. history, and 18, government and economics. So we're actually going to be having these guys vote in a U.S. election when they don't even learn that till they're either late 16 or 17 years old. And most of the time, they don't even care. And they shouldn't care.
Yeah. They should be out.
What is San Francisco thinking? That young people are just going to be more progressive?
I think it's to ensure that a certain wave of a party keeps moving forward.
So illegals get the vote already at local elections in San Francisco County, from what I understand.
I don't know on that.
I think I've heard that. Please call me out on that on the comments if I'm wrong. And you see how that city's run. You see the homelessness issue that got there. You can't even afford a home there if you make a mother and a father both working, making $50,000 a year. You can't even afford a home at $100,000 a year. I mean, what are you going to do?
I think it's the Lyndon Baines Johnson deal with the Black America.
Sure.
That we can win their hearts over. We have them for life. And I think it's the same thing. It's a modern day Lyndon Baines Johnson dilemma that San Francisco is trying to push out.
Exactly.
And then of course. Oh, hold on. Let me just say this. We got the COVID bill being held up because they want to make sure 16-year-olds can vote. And not
only that, but they're holding it up also, I heard, because they want the Democratic cities that were running themselves into the ground prior to COVID, they want to bail them out after COVID.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I'm just saying this is I got family members, and when family members ask me for money, I give them money. When they burn me to, and and I do understand this is when you have friends and family members ask you for money, you understand that you're never getting it back, okay?
Right.
But when they ask you about 10 or 12 times, you kind of got to cut the losses after a while. So,
yeah.
So anyway.
Well, I think the mail-in ballots is one thing. And to me, it's just laziness. It's just an excuse. It's a way for the system to be manipulated. That's what's going to happen. One party or both parties are going to manipulate it. And if you tell me that on election night, we're 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months away, getting closer to January 20th when the president's sworn in, we don't even know the president. You talking about the unrest we have now?
Oh, gosh.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Now, if you want to do mail-in ballot, do a 10-year plan, budget for it. I don't agree that we should do that.
We got 6 months. You can't do nothing in the federal government in 6 months, dude.
Well, we got 60 days.
You're right.
But do 10-year plan, do budget for it, cost all taxpayer money, more to do this, and then figure it out like that. But do it at least detailed.
Have you ever read anything in history about ballot box stuffing? Stuffing ballot boxes?
Yeah,
it's been going on for 100 years.
Yeah.
You don't think that's going to happen if we can have it mailed in?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
So, there's a lot of things that we ain't allowed to mail, so we're going to do them. It's just crazy.
Come on.
All right. So, hey, this quick segment on mail-in, we just thought we'd throw it out there at you and let us know what you think, Stay tuned to us as you stay tuned to society. I got the coach here.
And I've got the vet. One thing I want to say real quick. Tell us in the comments, start having more comments on Facebook and on YouTube, some of the things you want us to talk about. Some of the things that you'd say, hey, I want to hear your opinion on, and let's start a conversation on it. We want to hear some of that, and we'll even mention you in. If we say, hey, this person said they want to hear about ABC, we'll put your name out there and send you a sticker.
Sounds good.
All right?
All right. Well, hey, stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned.